Hey, I'm golf broadcaster Matt Adams. The updated and expanded second edition of my book, The Golf Round I'll Never Forget, Golf's Biggest Stars Recall Their Finest Moments, is now available. Readers can expect to march with Arnie's Army at the 1960 U.S. Open, relive Jack Nicklaus's remarkable 1986 Masters win, and be amazed by the Tiger Slam. The Golf Round I'll Never Forget, Golf's Biggest Stars Recall Their Finest Moments. Pick it up where fine books sold, including BarnesandNoble.com and Amazon.com.
Thrive Suite Productions. Welcome to This Day in Sports History. It's January 18th, and on this day in 1896, the first collegiate basketball game with a modern five-man lineup was played. If you remember back to the December 21st episode and the day that James Naismith introduced the game to a group of students in 1891, you will recall that Naismith split a group of 18 into two teams of 9, and that's the way the early games were played. But on this day, the University of Chicago played at the University of Iowa in Close Hall. Amos Alonzo Stagg is known more as a football coach, but he also coached a little basketball. He was also the athletics director at the University of Chicago, and he took a group of athletes to Iowa to play a group organized by Henry Kallenberg. Stagg and Kallenberg had both been students at the YMCA training school in Springfield, Massachusetts in 1890, and they got to know Naismith, who, of course, invented the game in 1891. Now, for this game, each made basket counted 1 point, and instead of peach baskets, they did have iron hoops at this point, with what is described as a hammock-like basket. The ball still had to be retrieved after each made shot. It would still be another decade before a hole was actually cut in the bottom to let it fall through. On this day, the ball needed to be retrieved 27 times, with Chicago beating Iowa 15-12. Also, in 1950, Cleveland Indians pitcher Bob Feller asked for a $20,000 pay cut, going from $65,000 to $45,000. He had been a 24-game winner for several seasons and led the Indians to a World Series title just 2 years prior. But in the previous 2 seasons, he averaged only 17 wins and 14 losses and agreed and even suggested lowering his salary. And in 1958, Willie O'Ree broke the color barrier in the NHL. He made his debut with the Boston Bruins against the Montreal Canadiens at the Montreal Forum. O'Ree was actually blind in one eye after he was hit with a puck in 1956, but he kept the injury a secret from everyone because it would have disqualified him from playing per league rules, and he was determined to make it to the NHL, which he did on this night 66 years ago. That's it for today. Thanks for listening to this edition. If you have a moment, how about leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts? Check out the show notes for other ways to help out if you would like. Have a great day, and I'll have more tomorrow on This Day in Sports History.
Hey there, sports history fan. This is Arnie Chapman, a.k.a. the Football History Dude, and I hope that you enjoyed this recent episode presented by the Sports History Network and were able to learn some good old-fashioned sports history knowledge nuggets. I started the Sports History Network back in 2020 with the mission to help podcasters find a community of like-minded sports history nerds, as well as helping aspiring podcasters to start their own shows. We have a little bit over 30 shows on the network right now covering all sorts of sports history, but as far as I'm concerned, we're just at the toothpick in the ocean moment, that can't even figure it out because there's so much more coming. We wanted to create the ultimate headquarters for sports yesteryear, starting with Podcast Network and our website, but we're going to continue to move into other mediums as well. And here's the cool part, because we want you to be part of our team. So if you're interested in starting your own podcast, or maybe being a guest on one of our shows, or who knows, maybe even writing an article for us over on the website. Seriously, all you got to do is reach out to us on the contact page over at sportshistorynetwork.com. You can be as technologically savvy as a Neanderthal tapping on a stone trying to figure out this whole hieroglyphics thing back in the day. Again, it doesn't matter, because even if you don't understand the whole podcast space, we have a production team that can pretty much help you out with doing everything. All you got to do, head over to sportshistorynetwork.com, head to the contact page, fill it out. That message goes right to me, and I'll reach out to you as soon as I can. But for now, dude, I'm through if you're through.